You are listening to Radio Long Island City, recorded at our studios near Hell Gate, 9 kilometers north of the Harbor Hill Moraine. And now, the Observatory. The Observatory, Wednesday the 25th of February, 2026. It is 66 days after the winter solstice. It is 23 days before the spring equinox. The sun rises today at 6:36 a.m. Solar noon takes place today at 12:09 p.m. The sun sets today at 5:42 p.m., civil twilight ends at 6:10 p.m., and nautical twilight ends at 6:42 p.m. The length of daytime today is 2 minutes, 37 seconds longer than yesterday. The moon is in its waxing gibbous phase and is 64% full at midday. The moon sets today at 2:25 a.m., and then it rises again at 11:09 a.m. The full moon will arrive on Tuesday, the 3rd of March. These are the predicted tides today for Horns Hook. In the wee hours, high tide, 4:15 a.m., 1 meter 37. In the morning, low tide, 10:43 a.m., 0 centimeters. In the afternoon, high tide, 4:55 p.m., 1 meter 7. At night, low tide, 10:52 p.m., 6 centimeters. In our shared realm of plants and animals, the snow that fell Sunday night through Monday morning began to melt almost immediately, and by yesterday sidewalks and streets that had been cleared were bare. Huge piles of snow still stand all along the streets, and early in the morning there is ice. What a contrast, however, to the last big snowstorm, when sub-zero temperatures lasted for weeks. Perhaps that's the nature of a late winter snowstorm. It comes, and then it goes. And now, despite the lingering snow, birds are singing and squirrels are out and about, a sign that winter is loosening its grip ever so slowly. Commemorations. Annals of Infrastructure. On this day in 1908, the Hudson Tubes opened. They were the first tunnel project under the Hudson River, and are used today by the PATH trains from New Jersey to Manhattan. The New York Times said at the time that the project rivaled the Panama Canal in its engineering ambition. Just 2 years later, another set of tunnels connecting Penn Station to the Jersey side of the river would open. All these tunnels remain in use and are at full capacity. The Gateway Project, funded by Congress, to rebuild and enlarge railway access under the river, was put on hold by the current administration, for reasons that remain opaque at best. On this day in 1941, a general strike took place in occupied Amsterdam against the persecution of the Jews in the Netherlands. People from all walks of life brought the city to a standstill. The Nazis responded forcefully, and the strike was called off 2 days later. 9 had died, 50 were injured, and more than 200 people were arrested. Some would be sent to the death camps. Remember those who stood up to fascism that day. On this day in 1956, Nikita Khrushchev, first secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, made a closed-door speech to the 20th Congress of the Communist Party, denouncing the crimes of his predecessor, Joseph Stalin. The speech was entitled, "On the Cult of Personality and Its Consequences." It marked the end of Stalinist terror, but it did not lead to a full-scale reform of Soviet policies. On a happier note, on this day in 1971, the musical revue O Calcutta opened at the Belasco Theater in Manhattan, where it would run for 1,316 performances. Written by Peter Shickley, Robert Dennis, and Stanley Walden, it explored contemporary social mores and featured full frontal nudity. The play is a period piece of the sexual revolution taking place at that time. Today we remember George Harrison, born this day in 1943 in Liverpool. As a member of the Beatles, he wrote "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" and "Here Comes the Sun," and his engagement with the musical traditions of India led him to incorporate the sitar and other Indian instruments and rhythms into his music. Did you know he was also a keen gardener? His autobiography, I, Me, Mine, is dedicated to gardeners everywhere. In the song he composed, It's All Too Much, he included this lyric, "Show me that I'm everywhere and get me home for tea." A nice thought from the most mystical of the Beatles. And that is the Observatory, Wednesday the 25th of February, 2026.